The Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and online at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, Rutherford County. This is your Tuesday morning Roundtable show with Wayne Blair and myself, Rick Hall. We come to you every morning, or every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10. And Wayne, how are you?
Good morning, brother. Doing well. Missed the tornado warning. Apparently, I slept right through it, I guess. So.
Well, we did get some rain finally. I think it's been quite dusty. I've got horses, and our hay guys hay's kind of thin a little bit right now, so maybe it'll green it up some.
Well, I'm just glad not to use city water on my yard.
On your yard,
and my
exactly.
shrubs, so that's a good thing as well. So happy for the rain, too.
Exactly. Well, we got a great show for y'all out this morning. We got the executive director of the Smyrna Airport Authority, John Black, with us this morning. And good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Black, how are you, sir?
Great. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you. Yeah, and also a great Rotarian, past president, and we've had several Rotarians on, Rick.
I think we're on a roll.
I think so as well.
Well, I'm glad to be here. And before we get started, I want to give a shout out to both of you guys for all your community service and the things that you do for our community. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I love Smyrna. It's not my hometown. I'm a dang Yankee is what they call us. I was actually born up north, but Smyrna's the only home I've known since 2, and I think that's the thing, that this bond that you and I kind of have, or not really a bond, but the relationship, because I kind of grew up on the airport at Smyrna, and when the Stewart Air Force Base shut down, my dad's company, Capital Airways, come down here in 71. So once they saw the big hangar and that 10,000-foot runway, they said, we're coming. So a bunch of us Northerners, about 400 of us, come to Smyrna, made it home.
Well, as a child, and not being associated with the military, and also proud to have lived my entire life in Smyrna. But when the base was here, had no idea what it looked like on the base. It had to close before I could go on it. So, which is kind of a shame, but it was certainly an economic change when the base closed.
Well, it has a long, rich history, and for those of us working there now, we take that into our everyday life there at the airport and consider it a real honor to be able to take care of that patch of earth. It has a long history back to 1942, and believe it or not, they built it in 6 months. In 6 months, they built the whole airport at the onset of World War II. So,
in 6 months.
6 months. First airplane that started flying there was the B-17.
Yep.
You ever seen the movie The Memphis Belle?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That's a B-17. Then they transitioned into the B-24. Then in the 1950s, they flew the C-119s, which were the airplane that had the kind of the clamshell doors on the back, and they dropped paratroopers all over Middle Tennessee. Some in the wrong places, maybe, but and then in the end, of course, in the 1960s, actually, was the C-130s.
Yes.
And when that closed, that group moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and they're still there. That unit's actually still in Little Rock.
Did some move to Panama City?
A few did go down there, but the majority of the 130s went over to Little Rock.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it closed in 1970. That's when Capital Airways came in.
That's right.
And Nashville Airport Authority actually owned and operated the airport for about 20 years.
Yeah.
But luckily, the group in Rutherford County saw that, it was a real kind of a diamond in the rough, and Chamber of Commerce, all our local legislators got together and said, hey, let's see if we can get that transferred over. And that's what they did. After about 2 years, transferred over, formed a new airport authority, and 1991, we formed the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority.
Was there pushback from Davidson County?
There was a little bit, but I guess one thing kind of in our favor at that time was there was a big environmental issue on the airport with all the old underground storage tanks that were there from the military.
That's right.
So that was our first task. I think Nashville kind of wanted to maybe get away from that problem.
Yeah.
We decided we would take on that issue, and we got the airport for $1. It was a pretty good deal.
That is a great deal.
Wow.
Although we did get all those tanks out, got the EPA clean bill of health, and from there we charged ahead with developing the airport.
Developing, it's amazing. It's not what I can remember as a kid, and what I see now on the airport. It's totally different. Somebody wouldn't understand what it used to be like back in the day, and the growth and everything that you guys have brought in now, and the economic development's amazing on that end of the.
How about since you're not a native son like me, I apologize. I can't help but say that, but. Tell a little bit about yourself, about where you came from, because I know you got a lot of information you share with us this morning, but talk about yourself, maybe about Mr. Fitzhugh, your relationship with him. Well,
I kind of grew up loving aviation. I just always, played with airplanes. I had friends with airplanes and was up in the air as a young kid and wanted to get into it. Grew up in Cookeville, went to Tennessee Tech for about a year and decided I wanted to come to MTSU for the aerospace program.
Good choice.
So I moved here, right. I sat on the right side in the basketball games then.
The correct side.
The correct side, right. And so, I love the aerospace program there. Matter of fact, I went back, got my master's there later on, and I'm still there.
Wow.
I'm not taking classes. I'm teaching classes now as an adjunct. So MTSU's got a fantastic aerospace program. It's one of the top 5 in the country. And I can't say enough about it. They produce the pilots that are sitting up there when you fly commercial. A lot of those guys and girls are from MTSU.
Mm-hmm. I was in aerospace. That was when the new. If you think about it, I graduated in '89. That's when the new hangar and classrooms all got at Murfreesboro. We were the first class to get the new classrooms out there at Smyrna Airport. Now they're, I guess, going to Bedford County to Shelbyville.
They've grown so much. It's just.
I don't feel old or anything thinking that those classrooms are old. No.
I don't either. No, not at all. But so I've just always loved aviation, and life is all about timing, right? So when I was ready to get out and get into it, that's when they transferred the airport over, and I met Mr. Fitzhugh, Steve Fitzhugh, who became a dear friend of mine, and. He hired me, luckily, 31 years ago, and I've been there ever since.
Wow!
And so I owe a lot to Steve. I learned so much from him, and there's days when I'm doing something and I can just hear his voice, So he was a lot of fun to be around, and he really helped, kick things off when we transferred the airport over.
Doug Warpool has a street named after him. Was he a former board chair, or
he was actually on our board. He was a representative of Smyrna, and thought a lot of Doug too. He was an engineer, and when we were building up the airport, we needed that engineering mind to help us think correctly in some of the areas and things we were doing. So he was a great benefit to the airport, and he passed away, and in honor of him we named the road in front of the terminal Doug Warpool Road. Yep.
That's amazing. So I know you got a big list there in front of you, but tell us a little bit about, I guess, where was the vision to bring everything that y'all got in there now? Or is it y'all reaching out, or everybody seeing this area like trucking that they want to be here now?
Yeah, that's a good question, because every airport, just like every town or county, has kind of a master plan.
Yeah.
So when we first got in, we kicked off a new master plan. We've now done that about 3 or 4 times since then. But our whole goal in the beginning was really the west side of the airport, because there's about 600 acres over there that,
right,
as you know, was just trees and a couple old bunkers.
Sure was.
And that was it. So from day one, while we were doing all that environmental cleanup, we were also planning to get utilities and roads on the west side of the airport. So that's been our goal from day one. And things take time. We want it to happen tomorrow, but it didn't always happen that way. But, then as this area grew, more and more demand. The great thing is the airport has, we've got one runway that's 8,000 feet, a second runway that's 5,546, a lot of ramp space. We've got a control tower. We've got, aircraft rescue and firefighting division. All those elements that for corporate aviation, that means everything.
That's right.
And that's our target market, really, is business and corporate aviation. Because, the business world moves through aviation, and a company that owns an airplane Some people see it as a luxury, but it's really not. It's a time machine. It's a time machine for their executives to be able to go out, maybe hit 1, 2, 3 places in a day, get back home that night, for their families. So it's super important, and that's the target market that we've always been after, because we feel like that's a great niche, and the Nashville market is our market. It's not as far as it used to seem to go from Smyrna to Nashville, unless you're on I-24.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Talk about your board then, if you want to, real quick.
Sure.
Did you have that already on your list somewhere?
Of course. We have a great board. So the Airport Authority is kind of set up on a shared basis between Smyrna and Rutherford County. Rutherford County has a 60% share. Smyrna has a 40% share. And that is really in the financing of it, because the Airport Authority is kind of its own quasi-governmental entity. So we operate completely separate of their budgets. We operate in the black. We operate it like a business. Mike Woods is chairman. He's been chairman for a long time. But there's only been 2 chairmen since in the last 31 years. And prior to Mike was Jack Weatherford. Yeah. Jack helped us get it off the ground and served for a long time, and think the world of him, and Mike as well. And Mike represents Rutherford County. Smyrna, and Paul Lamb represents Smyrna. Helen Colvin represents Rutherford County. She has been on the Airport Authority since it began.
Wow.
All this time.
That's pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing, and she's a great contributor. And then we got Steve Harrison. He's kind of our engineering mind. And Graham Coates, he represents the town of Laverne, and Graham is, of course, very deeply tied into Laverne. He's in the aviation business, so he's a good asset as well.
He's also an alderman there, too.
He is. He is an alderman in Laverne. So we've got a great board. Like I said, they're very business-minded. We like to move quickly and cut out red tape wherever we can. And I think that's important to the target market that we're after for businesses that want to come in. And we've been very successful, I think.
I think the people just don't understand what we get in out there. I know I was just in there a couple months ago about a rental car, and it was during football season, but it's one of the football teams flew in to the Smyrna Air Center there and the terminal, and I saw this big plane. I was like, I wonder what that one is. And it was a whole football team coming off, and they were to play up here at MTSU. But to think all of a sudden, little Smyrna, all of a sudden we're getting these big jets with the football teams coming in that way. And one of the guys was sitting there talking to him. He said, "Oh man, they've had all come in here." He said, "We've had some of the pro teams even come in here because Nashville stays so busy," and I didn't ever realize that.
Right.
I suspect celebrities as well. It's an easy, easy transportation here.
It is, especially in the music industry, since we're so close to Nashville. They can kind of get in and out of here at Smyrna Airport very easily, and incognito under the radar, so to speak. Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
But MTSU, all the football teams, basketball teams fly out of there. We're kind of what's called in the FAA world Part 139 airport, Class 4, which means that we can do unscheduled air carrier operations just about for anything. One day in our master plan, we have future plans for a passenger terminal. So we would take the next step up to have scheduled service. You go buy a ticket just like anywhere else, and we've got a big area reserved for that in our master plan, and we're actually moving in that direction.
Oh wow!
So we can handle anything. Southwest flies in. Charter, Delta, a lot of different airlines.
So if you put a passenger terminal in, what would happen to the present terminal?
Present terminal would probably be leased out to different various people, maybe some of the FBOs. There's actually a flight school on the first floor that takes up most of the first floor.
Okay.
So we kind of have a lot of different things on the airport. We, of course, a lot of aviation businesses, and I can talk about some of those, but we also have an industrial park, a solar farm, a lot of different. We try to diversify our tenant base so that it kind of flattens out those valleys. Sometimes, aviation sometimes is good, sometimes, it's hard times, but it's like everything else. By diversifying it, you flatten out the curves.
So we're coming into our first break here. We got the Executive Director of Smyrna Airport Authority, John Black, with us, and we'll be right back.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
Hey, hey, hey! Nothing gets your attention like a happy client.
When we were planning our move from Wisconsin to Murfreesboro, we chose Chip Walters of Exit Realty.
He knows Rutherford County, and we looked in several neighborhoods. And Chip helped us write an offer on a house in Murfreesboro.
And it was accepted on the first try.
If you were to tell me you were looking at buying or selling a home, I'd tell you to choose Chip.
I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, your trusted advisor in real estate.
Hey guys, there's a lot of people talking about testosterone, but do your homework and be sure to go to a provider you can trust. I recommend Low T Center. I have been for several years. Low T Center exclusively specializes in men's wellness. They check all your levels, not just your testosterone, and they determine the cause of any symptoms you're having and whether you're a candidate for low T or something else like thyroid or even sleep apnea. Their annual health assessment is typically completely covered by health insurance and is thorough, checking everything from PSA, which is your prostate levels, thyroid, liver and kidney function, cholesterol, glucose levels, and more. Low T Center has affordable and convenient options for treatment, including monitored self-inject treatment that ships to your home. Make your health a priority and schedule your annual health assessment. It's covered by most health insurance or less than $100 cash pay. Go to lowtcenter.com to book your appointment online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the law offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
Let's find out what's happening. It's time for WGNS Good Neighbor Events. We're a week away from a big event, the Friends of Lineball Book Sale. Not this Saturday, but a week away. That's Saturday, June the 11th from 9 until noon. And the Friends of Lineball Book Sale is in the garage below the Lineball Library. Saturday, June 18th also brings Boat Day in Smyrna at the Jefferson Springs Recreation Area. Starts at 9 o'clock that morning. Free kayak and canoe rides for all ages. And for your safety, they also provide personal flotation devices. That's a service of the Smyrna Parks and Recreation Department. Boat Day is Saturday, June the 18th in Smyrna. Give the gift of life at the Red Cross. And right now they're having their Battle of the Badges blood drive. Give blood in the name of the emergency responders agency that you wish to support. For more information, phone 800-RED-CROSS. From News Radio WGNS, those are Good Neighbor Events.
Good Neighbor weather. We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms here this afternoon with cloudy skies, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight, chance for rain and storms, a low near 68. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS.
Currently, it's 76. Hey, it's Krista with Fleet Feet. If you're out there running or walking or doing any type of activity and you need help with shoe fit, bra fit, gear fit, go to Fleet Feet and let one of our outfitters take care of you. Fleet Feet, next door to Carrabba's.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable with Rick and Wayne. And we have John Black, the Executive Director of the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport Authority. And you've been very interesting in sharing some things that I did not know this morning.
Well, I'm glad to be here. And there's so much going on at the airport. I invite anyone that wants to come out and take a look around. I'd love to have you out there and show you around anytime. There's so many aviation businesses on the airport that do so much for our community. A few of those, we have two what we call FBOs. And it's an old aviation term called fixed base operator. And we have Azure Flight Support. As you know, they help us with the fish fry every year in September. They lend us their hangar and clean it out of airplanes, and we all have a great time there raising money for the community. And I can't say enough about them. They're very good community partners, as well as Hollingshead Aviation. Right. And Hollingshead Aviation is on the other side of the terminal. They also do kind of the same thing. They have a maintenance shop there as well. They are actually building some new hangars right now. 2 new hangars, which will add about 100,000 square feet of hangar space.
Wow.
Just on their facility, which there's a great demand for hangar space in this area right now. So many companies are moving here. But interesting thing, just on Saturday morning at Hollingshead, they hosted all these flights that are taking the Special Olympics athletes to Orlando. So all the athletes from Tennessee showed up at Smyrna Airport at Hollingshead, and all these pilots volunteered their airplanes. I mean, some really, really nice corporate airplanes. They all got in and headed to Orlando. So they're there now competing, and they'll be back on Sunday, back to Smyrna Airport.
I watched the opening ceremonies, and then I watched the news that evening, and they showed Smyrna Airport and how the kids were through Hollingshead Air was flying, and they got them. Said it was quite the red carpet experience for these little kids that they're going to, remember for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
Not only being in the games, but how they got there and got to come home. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So there's a lot of those types of things that are happening right there at the airport all the time. I mean, the list is very long, but we also have an airline based at Smyrna, Contour Airlines, and they work out of a hangar complex that we built about 5 years ago on Blue Angel Way, which connects to Thunderbird Drive. So we like aviation names on all of our roads. And they also have a maintenance operation, and they are actually moving into a brand new hangar that we're opening up in about a week or two. They're out there paving today, so the paving is great because it's usually the last thing you do on a project.
Exactly.
I always say I like the smell of asphalt because it's the end. But that hangar it's a large hangar. It's actually large enough to fit one 737 in.
Goodness.
So we're building it for the future, and then Stevens Aerospace, they were at Nashville, they moved to Smyrna, and they just opened up a brand new maintenance hangar. So it's 44,000 square feet. Their main line of business is King Airs and Cessna Citations, and it is full. They've got 16 King Airs in there with maintenance technicians, and all those are just really good paying, high paying jobs.
Exactly.
And they also have plans to build another hangar probably in the next couple years of the same size, so that'll double their workforce. So there's a great shortage of pilots right now and a great shortage of maintenance technicians, and both of those are extremely high paying jobs. So if anyone is interested in getting into the aviation world and becoming a pilot, now is a great time. We have 3 flight schools on the airport. They're all great. You can get all your ratings there, and within a couple years, the airlines are offering bonuses now. They're offering so many things. It's a really good time. So, yeah.
Was there an employment deficit prior to COVID?
Yes.
In the aviation industry?
Prior to COVID, and then COVID kind of made it actually a little bit worse because a lot of people, maybe at the end of their flying career, they said, I'm done. I'll just go ahead and they were actually offering them some pretty good, healthy buyouts, to get on out. So, yeah. So it's a great time in aviation, not just for development, but for starting a career.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And then we've built a couple other smaller hangars on the airport in the past year. So in the past year, we've added about 200,000 square feet of hangar space on the airport.
On the back side of the airport over there. I'm going to have to drive over there.
You're going to have to take a look. We extended Thunderbird Drive, so it actually loops through our industrial park now.
Yeah.
And then our industrial park is almost full. We partnered with Hillwood. They're a Ross Perot company.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've built 4 warehouses there, which currently aren't aviation-related uses, but in the future could be.
Yeah.
But a lot of different companies that work out of those, including UPS, and NFI and Hunter Fan. There's a lot of great companies, a lot of great jobs out there. And that was a real game changer for us because, like I said, it diversified our tenants, but it also provided a healthy income for the airport. And every dime that the airport makes is put right back into the airport. It goes nowhere else. It's reinvested in the airport. So, to do things like matching grants, things like that, so we can keep the airfield itself up to FAA standards. And
so, how many flights in a day come in and out of Smyrna?
That's
on average.
On average, so the way we count them is a takeoff is 1 operation, a landing is 2, but we do probably between 500 to 700 operations every day.
Every day, and where's that ranked in the state?
Great question. I'm glad you asked.
You didn't even promise.
I didn't. I know nothing. You'd be surprised that if you count the number of operations annually, it's Memphis, of course, because they have FedEx.
Yes, exactly.
Nashville, and you've seen the huge growth program they've got going. Guess who's number 3? Smyrna.
Wow.
We're just above Knoxville.
I took notes when you spoke one day, and I remember that. And it blew me away if people knew we were the 3rd busiest airport in the state. It's just amazing to me.
It is extremely busy, and we've got a great air traffic controllers. They do a great job up there. They're kind of our front door to the pilots when they're flying in, and they treat them very well. And then our FBOs and the airport terminal is the next front door because, like the chamber works with a lot of people who come to Rutherford County to kind of see if they want to move here. Mm-hmm. Well, the airport is a lot of times the first place they see.
That's exactly right.
So we have to make sure that it's a good, world-class facility that always looks good and is inviting and can meet, that first impression when people come here.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that there's not potholes on the on the runway.
No, it's not like I-24 right now.
So what's the cost of keeping those runways up?
It is extremely expensive because, airports are totally different from road design. And a good example is we're getting ready to completely redo our shorter runway. And our estimate on that is $8 million to do it. It's 5,546 feet long. Now, that estimate was before the current fuel prices, and a lot of oil involved in that project, so we'll see. Yeah. That's what we're hoping. It comes in at $8 million, but it's quite expensive. That's an interesting project because we're going to actually reuse the asphalt that's there and kind of churn it up down to a certain point, and then you add some Portland with it, and that creates the base. So instead of digging it all up, taking it away, it creates the base, and then you pave on top of that.
Back on top.
Yeah, so it's a very good sustainable practice as well, which we try to be as sustainable as we can.
Is that called a retread?
Kind of, yeah.
Maybe in a way.
Yeah.
Well, the way concrete and everything's getting hard to find right now,
True.
I think it's probably a better use of being able to use materials and reuse it because of I'm in insurance, of course, and one of my guys called and he's putting a pool in and asked me what he needed to do, and he says, if I can ever get this pool done, it's taken 8 months, and he said now we're down to the point to where they need to put the concrete in, and there's no concrete. He said we're waiting 3 weeks before they said now that before we can get his concrete around this pool. And at Rotary, of course, Hollinston then brought that up, but it's evidently a real problem right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. There's a lot of supply chain issues we've run into building that hangar. Things you wouldn't think of, but all of a sudden it stops the whole project.
Yeah. Thinking of the airport and us growing up, where is the National Guard as far as I know there's been some rumors maybe them coming back, and we lost of course the helicopters went to Nashville when they moved, but where are they at with that? Or have you heard any rumors like I have, or what are you hearing?
Yeah, we talk to them all the time. They're our neighbors and friends, and they own kind of a little piece out of the pie there on the airport. And they did move up to Nashville on the corner there at Donaldson and Murfreesboro Road. But, Nashville, as I mentioned, has a major growth plan for Nashville Airport. The way this area is growing, they need all the space they can get. I know they're talking with the Guard about potentially regaining that property. We've talked to both of them about coming back to Smyrna. So I think everyone would like to see that happen on all three sides. It's just kind of all the logistics and behind it that we're working through right now.
So on the east side of the airport, it's pretty much landlocked with the river and all. There's growth-wise, we're kind of
right.
at a max over there now.
Kind of is what it is, but and we would eventually build a road around the north side of the airport connecting the west to the east.
Yep.
If the guard moves back, then there's some security concerns there. So,
I got you.
Yeah.
What far as we talked about the Wings of Freedom, our fish fry that we have out there annually. Tell us a little bit about the logistics and how hard that people don't understand that we put on this good show and everything else, but the logistics side of it, because I know it's a headache for you, and we appreciate the hard work you put into it. But still, talk about that day or those weeks leading up to it. What goes into
it's Wayne was there for the first one as well, and it's come a long way since then. And actually, the first one we had is where we have it now, but there was no hanger there.
We had pots.
It was grass and a tent, I think.
We had
maybe
a dozen pots.
Right.
And it was a challenge.
It was. So, the thing is that, the Rotary Club of Smyrna is made up of so many great people. And everyone's a doer, you kind of talk about the 70-30 thing. Well, our club seems like it's about 100% in. And so while it is a lot of logistics and a lot of planning, everybody, it's a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And they come in and everybody works together, and it comes off great. And I just love doing it. So we love having it. We also love, the air show is kind of the fish fry is kind of a product of the old air show days, and we love doing the air show as well. But it takes a little more logistics planning on that side. That one you do about a year out in advance.
Yeah,
actually, we're working on it now for next year.
I remember the old partnership between Smyrna Rotary and the Donaldson Hermitage Club. You seem to do the present air show so much more seamless than it was when we had the partnership, because we had all these committees and you had all these things to that you had to prepare for, and it took a year, and it just seemed crazy, and it was either feast or famine. You either made a lot of money to get back to the community or you lost money.
Right. It was a difficult thing, for a volunteer organization like Rotary to do. And that's where I cut my teeth on air shows, was in Rotary.
Yeah.
And I learned so much, and I saw so many people working so hard. I'll never forget, Jim Belcher had that notebook. It was about this thick, and he had everything in there that you ever wanted to know about an air show. And I love that. Well, when 9/11 came along, we had an air show scheduled for that weekend. 9/11 was on a Tuesday. We had an air show scheduled that weekend.
Exactly.
So that was kind of the end of the air show for Rotary. It was kind of the last thing, and the kind of tapped it out financially. So when we moved to the west side and started developing the west side of the airport, we decided we would bring it back. But only really under one condition, is that we would partner with a professional air show management company, and that they would take most of the risk. So the risk wasn't placed on the airport, but we would share in the proceeds if we make money. If it doesn't make money, like it used to sometimes with Rotary, we won't be taking the hit.
Right.
So
that's
after
great
time,
planning.
after time, it's really turned into a great thing, and we really treat the performers very well. We take care of them, and we are now really on that list where we're going to get a jet team every other year. They love coming here, and we love having them.
Like I said, you take care of them. They enjoy the experience, and they're cherished for what they bring to the program and what they bring to the community.
Yeah, a lot of them actually stop through here on their way to other air shows all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. We're getting a number of jets here lately. I don't know if they're coming out of Memphis or where, but it seems like that military-wise, they're fueling up here.
Yeah, they come in on training missions, and they come and eat lunch and then go back out and train. And then also this time of year, hurricanes. We have agreements with different units, up and down the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
Sure.
If hurricanes heading their way, they can pick up and move all their airplanes and bring them to Smyrna. So we do that quite often from now throughout October.
Because I guess we're in hurricane season.
Just
now.
started.
Just started.
Yeah.
not something that I would normally keep up with.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't keep up with tornado warnings either.
Yeah, I think they also like going downtown Nashville. You know?
They sure do. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the lure.
Whatever it takes to get
whatever
here.
it takes, yeah.
I know we picked them up, brought them from Smyrna, the hotel, one day, and one of the guys was like, "What's the chances we could find our way to Nashville somehow?" And I said, "Guys, they're going to take care of y'all. Don't worry about that." They were really wanting to know how they're going to get to Nashville.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this morning we're with the executive director of the Smyrna Rutherford County Airport, John Black, and we got a couple events coming up here shortly. And I guess, Wayne, you've got one in front of you. I wanted to see if you could bring up and the Wings of Freedom coming up.
Yes, sir. That's coming up on September the 10th. Of course, our fish fry revolves around that date of 9/11, and we have celebrated, honored different veteran groups over the years. World War II, Korea. Of course, we're losing those men and women daily, unfortunately. Hopefully gave the Vietnam veterans the honor that they deserve, and of course with the Middle East conflicts as well. And but this year we're doing something a little different. We're honoring Teachers of the Year, Rutherford County, throughout Rutherford County, that they were picked by their peers. So, of course, the website to participate and get information is www.wofsmyrna.com, www.wofsmyrna.com to be involved.
Great. Well, take our last break. You're with the Tuesday Morning Roundtable. We'll be right back.
Here at Bud's Tire, we make buying Michelin tires simpler. I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We offer a straightforward approach to service, including nationwide warranties with every purchase. Stop in today to see our full lineup of Michelin and BF Goodrich tires. For whatever you drive, Michelin and BF Goodrich have a tire to fit any need. Bud's Tire Pros, hassle-free, guaranteed. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstireprostn.com.
Hey man, love that car. I've never seen one like it.
It's a limited edition. They only made 20 of these babies.
And your shoes are crazy cool.
Yeah, they're a limited edition. Only 3 in existence.
And is that the new Jumbo Bucks instant game from the Tennessee Lottery?
Yeah, it's a limited edition too.
Have you ever played one?
How do you think I got the car and the shoes?
Play the new Jumbo Bucks limited edition instant game from the Tennessee Lottery for chances to win up to $300,000. But hurry, these tickets won't be around long. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Hey, you can't bring new hot instant games from the Tennessee Lottery into work.
Why? They got smoking hot top prizes. Hey, look, I won!
Oh, what have you done?
Huh, guess they were hotter than I thought.
Heat up your wallet with all new hot instant games from the Tennessee Lottery, and you can win scorching hot top prizes up to $500,000. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun.
Please play responsibly.
Hi, this is Bob Cornell, pastor of Covenant Church right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The answer that you've been looking for is found in Jesus and what he accomplished at the cross. You see, Jesus changes lives from the inside out. We would love for you to join us at Covenant Church, located at 1124 Brinkley Ave right here in Murfreesboro. We have services Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesdays at 7 p.m. You can learn more about us at our Cornell Ministries YouTube channel. We want you to grow in Christ at Covenant Church.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio Wgns on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.
And good morning and welcome back to the final segment of the Tuesday Roundtable with Rick and Wayne as co-host. And today again is our guest, John Black, the Executive Director of the Rutherford County Smyrna Airport Authority.
It's great to be here, and I enjoy spending some time with you guys. And
flies by.
It does. Oh, that's a good one. Especially Rick, you got a long history there, and Wayne, you too. But it's a special place, and it brings in a lot of special type activities like the fish fry and the air show, but also, no 2 days are the same at the airport. That's one thing I like about it, because you never know what's going to be on the ramp when you pull in the morning or go home in the evening. But we keep the skies pretty busy, and one of the things that you might have noticed, maybe you noticed it yesterday, there's a blimp coming back. Blimp came back from California. Only took it 3 weeks. It's a long trip, and they got stuck in Texas for a little while. Okay. But they're going to rewrap it. They wrap it like you see cars wrapped, and they've got a contract with Discovery Channel to rewrap it like they did last year for Shark Week. It looks like a big shark.
Yeah.
So they're going to have it in the hangar, rewrap it this week, and then head down to Florida for Shark Week.
Is that right?
So you might see a big shark flying overhead pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always want to go back to that. I grew up out there, and I have so many memories of going through that. I just wonder what the hangar's like, and if I walked in there and that smell, that hydraulic fluid smell that building had is still there.
Yeah. Smells like home.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right. It's a big hangar.
Connected to the airport, of course, is the Chris Memorial, right across the street in the park. And, I can't tell you how many comments I've had from people over the years since that monument was placed there, that just, especially at night, celebrating, the Blue Angels and the tragic event that occurred, before that air show.
Well, that it is a first-class memorial. There's no doubt. If you get up there, it's built, if you look at it, it's the bow of a ship. The front of it is designed as a bow of a ship. So if you're looking off the bow, you're looking straight down one of our runways. And I had the honor of being on the committee that helped with that. But hats off to Mayor Reed and Admiral Jimmy Taylor and all the others who worked on that committee. But the amazing thing really was that everybody just came out of the woodwork to support that cause, and we raised the money in no time flat. And ever since that accident, which was just a terrible day for all of us, and I have never had one negative comment about the air show, about anything about that. And to me, it really made me realize two things. Just number one, just how deep the air show runs in our community. And number two, what a great community that we live in.
Exactly.
Because people are just fantastic here, and everybody came together, and, we all went through that together, and, we have to keep going in life sometimes, and it's tough. But we want to keep having air shows, because I can't tell you how many people I've run across over the years that said, I would not be in aviation, I would not be a pilot, I would not be a mechanic, whatever it is, if I hadn't come to the air show in Smyrna.
Exactly.
And that's pretty strong, that we get the opportunity not only to work with the, the rock stars of aviation, the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds, because we get to work with them, hand in hand, and but also to be able to give that opportunity to the up and coming, people who are going to replace us one day.
Yeah.
It's pretty special.
Well, the memorial was financed by private dollars,
right?
And of course, there's a fundraiser, the
run,
that they use those funds for maintaining.
Exactly.
I think that's pretty cool too. That it's done by people that actually love the memorial and love the Blue Angels.
Yeah. Interesting fact about that airplane is it flew in our air show one year.
Sure did.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That's number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did not know.
They retired them. It actually upgraded the Blue Angels because of that. Because they got the newer airplanes after all that. So
yeah, they finally got the Super Hornets.
Super Hornets in, and they retired all the other ones, and that was aircraft number 2. Yeah.
Pretty cool. We went to a lull there.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry. I was just I wanted to bring up something that the state of Tennessee has just recently completed.
Yeah.
And that's an economic impact study of actually they did all the airports across the state, but they also did each individual airport So we actually did an economic impact study on the airport 9 years ago through MTSU's economic department, and the impact then 9 years ago was $74 million a year, which we thought was pretty healthy.
Yeah.
So the state just finished this one and redid the same kind of study. So here 9 years later, now the economic impact is $232 million.
Good Lord.
So it's basically tripled in 9 years.
It's pretty cool.
So, the airport has a tremendous impact on the local economy. It supports a lot of jobs. It helps bring in new business. When the chamber and the state economic community development is out there trying to pitch to people, the airport is part of that toolkit that they use, to bring people here. I mean, let's face it, Nissan wouldn't be there if the airport wasn't there.
Sure, exactly.
That was a big piece of why they came there. So it's super important, and we're very lucky to have an asset as large and as dynamic as Smyrna Airport.
I'd like to kind of give a shout out to 2 or 3 people. Of course, Admiral Taylor, who was a longtime member of the Rotary Club, and like you said, instrumental in getting this memorial, in place. Just an amazing American hero, and just pleased to have gotten to know him over the years through Rotary. But I graduated from Smyrna High School in '72, and out of that class, 2 local guys, Jim Whitmore grew up, his dad was a major out here at Seward, and Jim graduated in '72, went on to I think ROTC at Memphis. I think it was at Memphis State at that time. Recently retired, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, as a 2-star Air Force general. He's residing outside of San Antonio, but I take great pride in Jim having been a teammate in high school and a member of the class of '72, and also another friend, Nat Milliken. He retired. He went through the Air Force Academy, class of '76, and he flew the C-5.
Oh wow!
And he flew it to Smyrna, and I don't remember the year, but apparently they had some kind of mechanical malfunction. They had to fly a part in, and he called me, and he said, "Hey, would you like to see the plane?" And I got to go into the C-5. It is massive, and I climbed up this ladder. He said, "You can walk out on the top if you want to." I said, "No, thanks." And but I got to watch it leave, and I'm thinking, how in the heck do we have a runway long enough for that behemoth to take off? But it did. It was one of the most amazing sights I've ever seen.
It's amazing something that big can get into the air.
And it looks like it's barely going, and all of a sudden it lifts off. How'd that happen?
Yeah. Like an elephant rumbling down the road.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, and we used to have a 747 that would come in every winter.
Sure did.
And winter with us there at Smyrna. So that's one of our taglines, is we're big enough to land a 747.
Wow.
Because everybody knows how big that is, and we have a lot of capacity. That's the good thing. We have more room to grow.
Remind everyone of the next air show and the dates, if you recall.
So we are on schedule for an air show in 2023, next June, about this time of year next year, June 10th and 11th. And we already have the Blue Angels secured, and we'll be working on all the other acts very soon. We're working on a lot of things with it right now, because there's a lot of planning, like we talked about earlier, with air shows. But we're very excited, and we'll do it again next year. And kind of our premise is, we do it every other year. It's a little bit much to have one every single year.
I can't imagine that. Just remembering the work that went into the old air show, how long and arduous and gosh, it was
It's all those little details. I remember the signs, all those signs we had put up leading people in.
Exactly.
But that's when it was really was a 2-lane road. So
Yeah.
now everybody has Google Maps. You don't have to put signs up. But
And the problem with those is that the Google Maps don't always follow the same directions
No.
that we got the signs for.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, the two jobs you did not want to do was parking and putting up signs.
Yes, and I'll never forget one year, Dow Smith, it was his first year, I think, in Rotary, and he got the sign job. He was putting them up, and the guy from the state that you said you can't put them up too early was behind him, picking them up.
Oh, no. Well, I won't say it too loud, but Andy Miller will make me go back to work. But I always worked the main gate coming into the air show, and you want to talk about the most frustrated people on the earth is them coming in there. But then again, I enjoyed it, and I had fun with them, and I think they were waiting for that, the jerk cop to yell at them, and I was like laughing and waving their kids and giving them, sticker badges and let them know, hey, you're about to have fun.
Yeah.
That's
Take a
good.
deep
That's
breath.
great.
You're
Yeah.
here. Let's go. Let's have fun and represent Smyrna. And they see it, and I think I hope it helps some that people come back, because it seems like that thing keeps growing more and more every year. Every other year, I guess we have it now, but yeah.
Well, Andy does a great job for us.
yeah.
We love him, and
Yeah.
the thing about it is airports weren't built for major events like that.
Exactly.
They're built as an airport.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it does take a little time to get people in and people back out, but main things, like I said, have fun.
Exactly.
Well, so many, just besides the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds or the Snowbirds.
Yeah, they were there one year. Yeah.
Some of the other acts are just some of the stunt pilots. I mean, breathtaking. You're going, why would you do that?
Yeah, and we really try to get the cream of the crop of the ones that are out there. A lot of them are world aerobatic champions. A lot of the people that fly out there, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I just that anyone would have the desire to do that is just off the scale. For me, I couldn't even imagine, being involved in one of those performances.
Definitely on the edge of the envelope.
Yeah.
If a person is interested in flying and this is something they want to do, so we've got 3 different flight schools at Smyrna that they could reach out to, and I guess maybe even through your office you can direct them in the right direction. And I know you've got a flyer here, even the B-17s that were in Smyrna there for a while, and they come around periodically and actually give flights that you can sign up for and be able to fly. Is that right? Right.
So we've got a B-17 coming in October, and you can take rides on that. But if you're interested in, an introductory flight, all 3 of the flight schools will do that. They call it a discovery flight. It's affordable. They'll take you up for 30 minutes to an hour, let you actually take the controls to see if you like it, bring you back home, and then take it from there.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming in with us today. Time flies. I know we write a lot of notes and prepare, and we get in here and we don't get half of what we wanted to accomplish done. But
well, we see you and we want to start asking you questions. Maybe we got a little journalistic mentality, Rick.
Just means he gets to come back again.
All right, I'll do it. It's been my pleasure, really.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with us today, and
thank you, John.
Thank you everyone out there that listened to us this morning on the Tuesday morning roundtable with Rick and Wayne, and we'll be back next week. Thank you.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and worldwide at WGNSradio.com.